there was a post I saw where the media wrote that you were an anti-vaxxer or whatever. And I'm like, this dude literally just posted that his doctor told him he's at risk of Guillain-Barré and not to get it. That's not an anti-vaxxer. That's like, well, my doctor, that's what we're telling people to do. Trust their doctors, right?
Right, but here's the point. Performing abundances of caution and performing goodness out there, they say, well, everyone needs to get this so we can protect the vulnerable people who can't get it. And I go, cool, I'm one of those people. And it's like, no, fuck you, you got to take it too.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, and so it's like, well, then you're
What?
just performing now.
Right.
Like, your words mean nothing. And, so, call me anti-vaxxer, come after me for whatever. It's just...
Have they made up other lies about you and you're like...
I don't pay attention to what they're
Smart.
saying. It comes to me through, like, people will tell me, hey, they said this, hey, they said that, and so I will, I don't enjoy still talking about this. Like, it's not the entirety of who I am, what happened to me. It's a very small part of my life, right? But I will correct the record when I hear something that I think is inaccurate.
Isn't that the worst? That like a random person will send you a message being like, here's someone talking shit about you, please watch it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, dude, I know people talk shit. I don't want to watch this, man.
Well, it's
wanna
not
have
even
breakfast.
public stuff. It's like, I know people connected with them, I'm not going to call anybody out, but so I hear what's said behind the scenes, and so I just try to correct what I think is inaccurate. That's all I can do. But I'm not dwelling on it. I don't sit there. Like, to me, I just want to be creative. I want to move on with my life and do stuff that I enjoy.
Yeah, I'm hoping that with the stuff that we're doing, we've got the new studio we're building. It's big. We filmed the music video there. It's crazy. I'm just hoping that some days it feels like trying to knock down a skyscraper with a ball peen hammer. Just like one guy like hitting it, and you're like, good luck. Maybe in 10,000 years you might actually move this thing. But I'm hoping that there'll be an exponential return, a snowball rolling down a hill, where if we start doing shows, if we start making new cultural content, and then we just say, listen, I wish people would all stand up and speak up, but I understand they're scared. But if we can carve out a space where they feel safe, we win.
Yeah.
So for all the people who are like, look, man, if I speak up, I'll lose my job. I want to be like, okay, well, we've got jobs for you.
Right.
Speak up now. And if you do get fired, we're looking for a insert job.
Yeah.
We're not big enough at Timcast. I mean, we're decently large enough to do cool stuff, hire you to do music, and other people. We had Taylor Silverman. She was skating in this contest, and then she's competing against biological males. She speaks up. There's like a cultural attack against her, which is damaging for anybody who's trying to have a career, and especially skateboarding is woke.
Yeah.
So I said, we need a host for the skate show we're doing, which has been like put on hiatus, unfortunately. But she's been fantastic, and I want to make sure that anybody who is speaking up, we create that parallel economy, and we create a functioning system. So nobody goes broke doing the right thing.
Well, that's the thing. Like, there has to be a place where, as an artist, you shouldn't need anyone's permission to create. And that's the thing. I think a lot of people are like, well, I'm going to get in trouble for this. I won't be able to create. Well, nothing's stopping you from creating, like, even cancel culture. Like, oh, I got canceled or whatever. Like, you can't be canceled if you don't agree to it. Like, I don't agree to it. I'm not going to skulk away in the dark and never make music again or never create again. I'm going to keep going about my life. You guys can dance around issues and spout nonsense all you want about, this person's canceled, but I don't agree to it. So,
yeah, that's true, but they can make it hard. Like,
it's hard.
Take your bank account from you.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's not for the faint of heart, and I understand why not everybody feels like they've got the stomach for it.
Yeah,
but yeah, you gotta what you're doing, creating a cultural space of like, we don't need these gatekeepers. Like, we put up a Timcast song, goes to #1 on iTunes, right in front of Taylor Swift. And it's like
two of them did. The last two
hit
the top of iTunes. It's crazy.
Yeah, right. So that should be a big story, right? But who's going to cover that? Mainstream music press? No, because they're going to go, well, those guys didn't do it the right way. They didn't go through the gates that we set up. And it's just like, well, who are you to tell us whether we get to create or not, or whether we get to be successful or not? Like, we put out a song, like Story, this band out of nowhere that no one's ever heard of, is in front of Taylor Swift on the iTunes chart, should have been a cover of Rolling Stone. Instead, it's crickets because, oh, that would be great, but not those guys.
We've put out, you and I have 2 songs that are out, and I've put out 3 total songs, all of which have hit Billboard to some degree.
Yeah.
Will of the People came out right before the 2020 election, and it only charted because of Only Ever Wanted, which we put out last August, I think. So, you know, I'll take it, but, you know, to be fair, it's like it's getting lifted up. But we put out our first song, Only Ever Wanted, and it hit like number 14 in rock, and it hits like 4 or 5 different charts on Billboard, top digital sale, like number 2 in digital sales behind, I think, like Elton John.
And Britney, yeah, their duet.
We put out Genocide, and this one charted on a couple, hit number 1 on iTunes, number 4 in digital sales. Granted, at that point, we're competing with like Taylor Swift and Sam Smith, I think. So it's like, you know.
That's a lot.
But this is the crazy thing is the people that I've talked to in the industry are like, for a new artist, regardless of your show and your notoriety, having 2 songs like a month out from each other hit Billboard should have been written up in all of these places. It should have been big news. It should have been like, this band's hitting it for some reason. But we got messages, our PR person sends out messages like, hey, check out this song. The song Only Ever Wanted that we released, what is it, like an angsty, emo-ish kind of like love
nothing
song?
political. It's a love song.
It's like a song about a guy who
regret.
His wife dies.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's regret, and it's relatively soft for a while with a heavy ending. They email us back saying, go fuck yourselves. They email us back saying, fuck your MAGA chud rock. And it was weird because the things that some of these journalists were saying were like generic tweets we had seen.
Right.
Like someone said, like there was a viral thing where like, this is butt rock. And it's like, okay, butt rock is a reference like Nickelback. And I'm like, I don't know, like an honest assessment would be it's more emo-ish than that, considering, you know, Carter's influences and my influences. It doesn't sound like Nickelback at all. But then all of a sudden we started getting journalists being like, haha, LOL, butt rock. And I'm like, do you guys actually do your job? Do you
listen? Do you have 3 minutes of attention span to pay attention to a song, or have you gotten your marching orders and you're going
marching orders, man?
Yeah.
This is the thing people need to realize about the music industry. It's all bought and paid for.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
It's a fake machine. This is why what scares me about the modern era is that everything is a plastic, synthetic replica of what things used to be, right? It used to be like if you did good music, like initially, if you made good music, you got popular, people liked it. An element of that still exists. But for the most part, the biggest musicians, the biggest bands, fabricated, plastic, manufactured.
Yep.
So, I mean, people have said like, oh, you guys did really well on iTunes, but no one buys music anymore. And I'm like, exactly.
Yeah, but listen to what you just said. Enough people bought it that we were number 1 on iTunes. So, but now you're saying, but that doesn't matter.
Well, but the issue there is artists can't motivate someone to buy their music anymore. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of a big deal. What that says to me is, and I feel this too, I have a subscription to Spotify. I just press radio.
Right.
And then I don't even know who's playing the music anymore. And so the influence of these musicians is minimal. If I can influence more people to buy music than Taylor Swift, I mean, that says a lot.
But even think about where we are with music. You know, people don't buy music anymore. Well, how did that happen? Like, did anyone push back against it? Or did everybody go along? I don't want to make waves. This looks like the new thing that we're doing.
You know what we should do? Probably shouldn't just say this on a show we're going to publish. We should totally write a song and then change the song later to make a point. Like, we could put a song up and then 2 weeks later, re-upload a slightly different version, have everyone get all bent out of shape, like, whoa, what is this? It's like a different song. They'll be like, did you buy it? Right. Because this is what they're doing now, like the Ronald Dahl books.
Yeah. And the James Bond stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they're like, James Bond was racist before, so we got to change the whole book.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we made a change to the song. Did you buy the original? Well, then you have it.
That's right.
But if you're just depending on something streaming to you, that can get changed. That's a good point. It can get changed at any time.
Think about video games, you know? Like, a video game would come out, Street Fighter 2, which I'm sure you know. There's combos in Street Fighter 2. That was a bug. The way it goes is that if you input the commands for a move in rapid succession, there is no frame between the moves, making your character effectively invincible, and doing these moves in such rapid succession, the opponent can't block it. And when that happened, at first they were like, oh crap, this is a problem. But then they realized it became a skill. If you could execute a combo perfectly, you deserved to get those hits. And so then they incorporated it into the game like, okay, like actually, it's not a bug, it's a feature.